Your dog's nose is already moving. The eyes are fixed on something just off frame. The body hasn't shifted an inch, but something has already changed in that room, and your dog caught it before you said a word, before you flinched, before you even admitted to yourself that anything was wrong. The chemical signal left your body first. Your dog was already reading it, and what happens next is what this video is about. Fear is not just a feeling, it is a chemistry event. The moment your body registers a threat, real or imagined, it fires a stress response that changes what comes off your skin and out of your breath within minutes. Those changes are invisible to you. To your dog, they are not. Dogs use smell the way we use vision. It is their primary channel for reading the world, and the world they read most carefully is the social one. They are not waiting for you to speak. They are not watching your face for clues. They are already inside the moment, pulling information from the air you are standing in. So the question this video answers is not whether dogs can detect human stress. The question is what they actually do with it, and the best available research shows dogs do not simply detect stress odor and move on. They change their own body state. They change their social choices. They change how they make decisions about the world around them. That is a bigger claim than the folk wisdom version, and the evidence behind it is specific. One honest limit before we go further. This does not mean dogs feel what you feel, or understand fear the way a person would. What the evidence points to is something more precise and more interesting than that. The detection question came first. Can dogs actually smell human stress, or is that just a story people tell? In 2022, researchers collected breath and sweat samples from people at rest, then collected fresh samples from the same people immediately after a mental arithmetic stressor. The human donor's stress was validated with heart rate and blood pressure measurements, not just how the donors said they felt. 4 trained pet dogs were then tested in a double-blind setup. The dogs never saw the people. They never heard them. They only smelled the samples. Across 720 trials, the dogs identified the post-stress sample 93.75% of the time. What the dogs were reading was not body language, not tone of voice, not facial expression, only odor. That matters because it isolates the chemical channel completely. A second proof-of-concept study found that 2 scent detection dogs could distinguish calm breath from breath collected during trauma cue exposure in 26 people, reaching roughly 90% accuracy within person. Both studies used trained detection dogs, not average household pets. So detection is real, and the chemical signal is real. But trained dogs working scent lines are not the same as your dog sitting on the couch next to you. The more revealing experiments put ordinary pet dogs in a room and let the chemistry do its work. In a controlled experiment, pet dogs were exposed to human sweat collected under fear, happiness, or neutral conditions, while the dog's owner and an unfamiliar person sat in the room. The dogs never saw the sweat samples. The odor was simply present in the air. Fear odor produced measurable stress behaviors in the dogs and raised their heart rate. It also pulled the dogs toward their owner, more checking in, more proximity seeking. Happiness odor did the opposite. Under happiness odor, the dogs showed more interest in the stranger across the room. The study was extended with 84 dogs total, and the same pattern held. Under fear odor, dogs showed more owner-directed behavior, more stress signals, and more door-directed behavior. The researchers read that door orientation is possible escape motivation. Female dogs showed a clearer pull toward the stranger under happiness odor and somewhat stronger door-directed behavior under fear, but the core fear pattern was not sex-specific. A 2025 study tried to close a gap in those room-based experiments. If humans are present, could the dogs be reading those humans' subtle reactions to the odor rather than the odor itself? Researchers shielded the experimenter from the smell and gave dogs a direct choice setup. The blanket rule that dogs avoid fear smell did not hold. Instead, dogs exposed to fear odor spent more time near the experimenter, moved more slowly toward a target, showed more low tail carriage, and disengaged more often. That is not a simple avoidance response. It looks like discomfort, hesitation, and safety seeking, with real individual differences between dogs. Fear smell does not make a dog run. It pulls the dog toward the safest person in the room and makes the dog more watchful. That is a social strategy, not a reflex. One of the sharpest questions in this field is whether dogs learn what human fear smells like from living around people, or whether some part of that response arrives preloaded. In 2023, researchers tested 141 dogs, both puppies aged 3 to 6 months and adult dogs, under double-blind conditions using control, human fear, and human happiness odors. The result was asymmetric. Fear odor produced consistent behavioral patterns in both puppies and adults. Happiness odor separated cleanly from control in adults, but not in puppies. The researchers argue this suggests responses to human fear chemosignals may be more evolutionarily prepared, while reading positive human odors may require more social learning during development. A puppy that has been alive for 3 months and has barely learned anything about humans may already respond to human fear odor in a way that resembles the adult pattern. The happiness signal takes longer to read. The researchers state the limit directly. Early fear responsiveness does not prove an innate fear odor module. Puppies may have learned quickly in their first weeks, or may be expressing a general sensitivity to negative arousal rather than a specific read on human fear. Still, this study most directly supports the idea that fear odor carries a more stable, earlier developing behavioral signature than happiness odor does. The most direct advance in recent research is this: stress odor does not just change a dog's mood, it changes the dog's judgments. In a 2024 study, 18 dogs were trained to associate one bowl location with a reward and another with nothing. Researchers then introduced ambiguous bowl positions between those two extremes and exposed dogs to odor from relaxed or stressed, unfamiliar people during the test. When dogs were exposed to the stressed person's odor, they were less likely to approach the bowl at the near-negative ambiguous position. The researchers described this as a pessimism-like shift, a risk reduction response. Under the smell of human stress, dogs behaved as if an uncertain opportunity was not worth checking out. The sample was 18 dogs, and the effect appeared most clearly at one ambiguous location. Persuasive, but not the final word on how general this bias is. What the finding adds to the picture is this: a dog smelling a stressed person is not simply activated. The dog may be reweighting the environment, becoming more cautious about uncertain prospects. That is exactly what you would expect from a socially attuned animal reading another animal's distress. So here is what the evidence, taken together, actually shows. Dogs can detect acute human stress odor. When they detect it, they shift toward their owner, display stress signals of their own, become more hesitant, and make more cautious judgments about the world around them. That response may be present from as early as 3 months of age. The chemical signal leaves your body before you have decided how to act. Your dog is already reading it. This is not dogs feeling what you feel. The evidence points to something more specific. Dogs use stress-related odor as social information that reorganizes their behavior toward caution and safety seeking. Your dog is not watching your face for clues. It is already inside the moment, reading something you did not choose to send.